and welcome to BBC Words First 2022 semi-final, presented to you by BBC Radio 1 Extra and BBC Contains Strong Language, in partnership with Young Identity and Apples and Snakes. I am your host, PA Bites from Young Identity and a finalist of BBC Words First 2020. This scheme has been great for my career progression. You're about to watch BBC Words First, a national talent scheme taking place in the spring and showcasing the finest emerging writers who have been mentored by our established artists and mentors Tolu Agabalusi, Shirley May, Nicole May and Rhys Williams. 12 writers will be selected by the Words First Poetry Partners and the BBC to perform live at the Words First Talent Showcase at Contains Strong Language. Thanks so much for taking the time to stay tuned. Be sure to tweet at us and let us know who your favourite poets were using Young ID MCR. Finally, enjoy the show.
May is always heavy with the love you have lost. You turn a year older at the end of spring when everything looks like affection. This winter, a friend let you lay in his bed after the hospital and you took in his bedsheet as if it were a love you knew. It feels like you just disappear when no one is touching you. You light a candle. For each dog year your body has been a burning altar and the room becomes a glowing headlight. You have to become your own god. If only you knew how to worship your heart. If only you knew how to hold it in your palm. Each night you pray to an empty room. Beg for forgiveness. Ask for some rest. The grief you hold for people who did not see you is messy and alive in your gut. You thought heartbreak was watching your father become the sea. Each ripple of him was a confession, and your mother, the woman who taught you how to build a home out of anything, was so often a girl on the run. Last year, you learnt the umbilical cord only breaks when you ask it to, and oh, how you asked it. To show you who you are when you are no longer daughter, or lifeboat, or anchor. And even though you never really believed, you asked God for an answer. All you find is a woman showing you your steady hands.
An urge to transform like Megatron with an itch. A renovation for the house within. From sticky stained ceilings to the clear ones that I can see that familiar fine fellow in. This ain't a postcode switch, it's a skin shed. It's that flood in that decade's worth of tears fully evaporated. Did I ever mention that I can't swim? I'm bored of drowning. These days I just play God as I build these forests of books.
Mum, you are the rose, a poem in praise of the feminine. Sometimes think I see you in the butterflies of garden, hear you in my sister's inhibitionless witch cackle, feel you through the eyes of a lover, mostly in the roses. I return back to smelling you there, sensing. What else could behold a higher wonder than that which cuts, leaving you claret red, bleeding with joy, Aphrodite's own creation, blessing us with her own hand gift. Wisdom stored, passed from ancestral arcs, carried on hunchbacks like water from Celtic streamed motherlands. The clouds hold all dreams. It's where my clearest daydreams of you are born, reminding reminiscently you don't belong to this realm any longer. Not one day more will your feet root the earth of this life. But no, you aren't lost. Now you are always enamoured in gold, in lobes, on wrist, through your aura, glistening gold, goddess-like. Your grief was vanilla whiskey tears. Wish I had bottled them. It could be the new currency. There is so much potency in this type of pain. Pain birthed from an eagerness to leave a life you never really landed in, perpetually in flight. Our ancestors were not burnt at the stake for me to falter in your embers. Instead, I rise. I will do all you couldn't do, and more. So see you soon, to share with a biscuit and a brew.
Good evening. I'm here today on behalf of the Men's Body Count Club Committee. I've come here to share the heart of the club and what's expected of you if you become a member. Now, we give all our members the proper training necessary for success. The first place we'll usually send you is the nightclub, where your eyes will become ravenous hyenas, playfully parading around the perimeters, picking up prey that's already been pounced on once, twice, 3 times, maybe 4. It doesn't matter because this time she's yours. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's a bit predatory. Be assured, we'll never train you to take by force. Of course, you may have to lock your morals in the basement, because that's where enemies of progress belong. Buried, bound in the ground, unable to make a sound, will choke the life out of anything within your subconscious that causes you to contemplate commitment. Marriage is our kryptonite. Adultery is the fist that fights back. We do allow friends with benefits, but make sure you don't get attached. Detach yourself from your feelings. They're just a barrier for growth. Love infringes our mission and hinders sound vision. We need you to stay driven. Just follow our lead and trust in our deeds. We'll meticulously mould your motives so magnificently that even in the most mundane of meetups, you'll be able to majestically manipulate her desires, directing them towards you. And don't start stressing if you get turned down the first time. We'll teach you a good flirt line that will get you in between her thighs. Each time your hips collide, your ego will rise, but we do value women. That's a promise. We rank them from 1 to 10, but not based on character or kindness or how caring they are. We rank what's on the outside and the shape of her outline. Let me outline how this will only serve to benefit you as a member of our club. See, all the former create love in the air, but the latter make sure every encounter is a lustful affair. So value the physical, then your score won't be minimal. Feast on the flesh meat that's on offer. Don't ponder, just let loose the carnal vor within your soul, filled with sin, and revel in the propagandaed promiscuity that we poster on the pillars of our palace. Some people think we're gross, but we're just after gross profit. Concerned with total revenue more than operational costs. Before joining our club, you should count the cost. Every body counts.
I pulled myself from the floor. some wet puddle of a thing, of a tower so tall a child will have a birthday before it hits the ground. Wicker, pyre, every night you leave your innermost inside me and set fire to my body when the sun comes up. Hands shake as if my skeleton is about to hatch. Blistering throat, spasms sulfuric, skin stretched vellum-like over ribs. Eyes coiling to back of skull, draining into the ginnels of my ankles. Pooling. Oil spill. Bitumen. Sealing wounds in this corpse, shaped like your indecision. My carefully crafted neuroses, christened a mind, has curdled. In the loneliness, I read aloud to keep sentences company. God forbid they understand themselves. You have taken to giving me a dose in an effort to silence the howling. Salving your knees, stiffened by your absence of altars. Me, handmaiden to desecrator. With all the charm of a war crime, you confess to me that you could never love someone who insists on making wildfires of themselves. This tower cannot contain the gestation of aftermath. Martyrs will have no epiphanies from me. A lifetime of violations into the well of a woman. What is a man? Besides a miserable little pile of secrets, poor kintsugi and ash. Like an expletive from God, on a bruised and broken body of a day, I leapt.
Take out this camera, you said. Focus on his posture. Blur out all distractions and imperfections. Let me see the light that you hold. Snapped back to the moments that only I seem to look back upon. Every blink, capturing our every frame. Joint and pain now looked the same. Another filter to mask the obvious that this smudged lens hid from view. The only beauty I saw within you. A coffee-coloured canvas, silhouetting in this red room, dripping into a well of wishful thinking. Here hung an array of emotions, captured in 4x4 dimensions, bordered by tranquility and artistry. But I needed to see you clearly. Covered in caramel hues and sunset blues, stained amber news, this crimson bruise became my primary view. Colours coating this troubled imagination, filled with frustration. This feeling I tried to emulate and keep copied, no cut, paste, print, jam. My only error was printed for two, hoping to see right through your opacity, never showing transparency. Did you always lie to me? Let my thoughts settle on this same page. Whilst you wandered aimlessly, eyes never on this master's piece. Sigh. You lost the gloss in your eyes and warmth in your lips, framed with dust, shadowed by time. Grey became your new shade. Sombre and sullen, worn corners wading between the whispers of these pages that bear the weight of this weariness. Only I admired your motionless picture. Set on this mantelpiece, a lifeless love, hung in the gallery of my mind. Exhibition expired, agony retired.
no longer required. My memory.
(54.4°C), Death Valley, 16th of the 8th, 2020, summertime, hailing Hades. Summer June's by, breathless, dry swallowing our broken vows as we sing in our cars to our hearted Spotify jams. On the other side of the world, far away, on a mystical island, on a beach where the stars still meet with the sea carbon-free, Terra lies wide awake, eyeliner fading, wide eyes at the ocean, at the days that are yet to come, gazing. I call out her name, Terra, Amma, lover. But she snaps, PTSD from all the promises, her older babes boiled to death like orthodox Easter eggs. You are not my lover. And she's right, I'm not. Trust issues make sense. Wildfires make sense. Droughts make sense. She's thirsty for something or someone to love her. But yeah, I still buy meat from Tesco sometimes. I still buy meat from Tesco. I still eat fish sometimes. I still use plastic after I sign petitions to ban it. I still regret not contributing to science. If only I could scatter the curse of mankind to surround her highest peaks with Ananda's bliss. She whispers, you wish. I can't sleep, she says. I can't breathe or be sleeping no longer. Time is a painful ocean. We pass it by drilling in, we act like it's just a scene from the end of time, but for her we are whipping her paradise jawline with radioactive interest. It smells like survival of the richest, puppets playing for time as the hot cold blows plastic pine trees on Christmas eyelids. But I believe things can change. I believe in the power of prayer and oceans. I believe we are not a burden. I believe in divine, in the fairy tale kiss. I believe we can come back to life, back to love, like the children I believe we once were. On the other side of the world, a Buddhist man burns himself to death on Earth Day, the flames of his body so high, soul-seeking stillness in the simmering mountains it leaves behind in its sacrifice. No more weeping, no more sleeping. Terror is weeping on the fiery fields, the suffocated shore, weeping. How many bruises more?
This is Precipice, take 9. Have you ever swallowed a black hole? I had. An aching emptiness lodged in my windpipe. My asteroid tongue did not speak in woman, nor knew the language of man. So I choked more on the unknown. Wanted to telescope the pain of feeling alien, but suffocated by my own teeth. Startled at my own voice, concealed in the vortex of trying to be a she, folding and folding, never finding the cold side of relief, hiding my stars beneath chronic prickling skin, ready to combust at the void. If I am a woman, why do I not feel like one? Wings trapped. Stuck in a chrysalis, I overindulged in the fondue of approval, forced myself into a softer shape, apologized for the space taking, not noticing my shrinking, my galaxies misplaced when I cobwebbed myself into beliefs of what I should be. Womanly, convulsing at the sky, pleading for resolution, staring at the ceiling, hoping I'd remain in sleep. If to human is to be, then let me be. My revolution a firework display when I discovered the key to the shackles of expectation. Let me be pink and blue. Let me be gold. I chiseled away the makeup I forced myself to wear. Free from the rules of binary, I'm still punched in the sternum when choosing a public toilet. The humans that named me can't fathom what to call me now. But this freedom tastes like candy floss. I've reached the peak, and the glorious sunshine serenades my skin. Beads of hope dripping from my temple. From self-cremation I rebirth and spread like smoke from fire. Today I fly. Today I'm free.
Are hurricanes always devastating? Amara says, a mother is a whole family born generations apart. I say, it takes hurricanes to make a mother out of a woman. In this family, women are generations of disaster survivors who speak to God as ardently as babes screeching for milk, pack relief bags as purposefully as packed lunches, rally community puisque manger c'est caca. Mother bleeds herself into rebirth before supper, sets the table, places knives and forks beside tablecloth comforts. Like the day before wasn't spent searching for displaced cutlery. When searching and placing withers her, she will ask me, her only daughter, for rest. In my blue jean back pocket, hoping it is deep enough to cradle her. I ask mother if she fears death. She claims, behind closed doors, she chants at the moon to cause cyclone winds, rising tides, swelling oceans. I wonder if, like mother, I will sing for hurricanes so easily. I fear rapid gales to be the sirens of death. My own funeral? Or is it rebirth of small bundle victories in the aftermath?
The son of the smoking gun is breathless and on the run from eternity in her wake. What do you do when your hesitation lies before you, culmination of a tapestry woven by those before you? Hands rough and calloused like war-torn land dotted with pockets for the bombs and remembrance. Cultivating and harvested for men in suits and juice, dripping upon their chins. Lick your blood-stained fingers, you bitch, and sin and sin and sin again. Crime of minimum wage, doing time, serving plates. You keep talking about a crime wave and all I see is poverty on my hands. This is Wagyu meat, motherfucker, the likes of which you will never eat. Take your smoke break, clock the fuck out, and spend your tips on the Netflix account. Pop another sedative, and knock the fuck out. Ravenous night air when you open the staff door, the first of 6 hours of relief is the sweetest. So here I am, breathing out like the smoking gun, dumb motherfucker who has never seen the sun, dead while I stand. Only thoughts racing through my mind, forgotten like the lamb. I've forgotten what it tastes like. I am everything I was not meant to be. I am the criminal upon the sea fleeing a legacy. I am the thief of the new age taking jobs instead of lives. I am the scrounger they warned you about, a monarch of scraps. I am the faggot, the tranny, the worshipper of sodomy. I am the drug mule smuggling cocaine to your kids who can't get enough of it. I promise this was their idea. They just can't get enough of it. Bless the Sangha the gun. I can no longer feel his arms around me when I sleep. I can no longer feel my feet on the ground. Too tired to understand relief. I haven't felt grass between my toes for a decade. And I've forgotten how the song goes. How the sun felt against my skin. And now, I am a ghost. A pale imitation of myself on a good day. The most sorry case of vampirism I've ever seen. A howling coyote waiting for the moon to rise. Separated, isolated, afraid, and incubating in Nevada green water that is somehow supposed to save me, while the whole world passes me by. I do not want to die, not like this. And yet die I must, every day without fail, like cutting out chunks of my spirit and putting them out for sale, in case there is not enough food on a Wednesday, and there is not enough dopamine to go around to kindle fire, to pay the electric. Pray for my eviction, for my eternal salivation. One day the great leader will deliver extermination, but until then, I must practice for my greatest performance. And you will see my face for just a moment, and then move on in the morning, with your Sunday best and forgiveness on your lips. At least that's what might happen, if the smoking gun is a metaphor and not a threat.
The body is sacred. That is why it should be left untouched by the fingers of a curious brother whose tickles and embraces teeter between. Why would you tell Mummy? There's nothing to tell her. And can't you keep a secret? You have such a big mouth. The body is sacred. That is why it should be left unseen. By Aaron from school who insists on seeing what should be left unseen. I don't want to be seen like that. He won't leave me alone if I don't snap. The body is sacred. That is why it should be left unbroken. And you know what Mummy said, men only want one thing. So once you give it to them, they no longer have any use for you. The body is a delicate thing. So each glance at my thunder thigh sends shivers down my spine. I like to think my tongue is sharp enough to cut and my hand swift enough to slap some sense into any stupid man. But the body is a stubborn piece of work. And though I try to drown it in shame and regret, it floats. And though your kisses are comforting, my body remembers kisses that were not. And though each touch of yours disarms me, my body flinches and my heart races and my mind gets loud and I see their faces so clearly. Clearer than I ever did. The body does the one thing my mind refuses to do. The body remembers everything.
My name is Rosa Caines and this is my poem, Incantation. I did an autopsy for my body. Found my breathing small and shallow and soft flowers and lies and wanting to please and the skin underneath all crushed velvet mauve. What are the ethics of care, I ask, with my tears all choked back into a broth. What can I mother with my silence? I ask with my mouth all closed like winter. Where do I end and you begin? I ask the city as I suck up the sweat and suffering from the streets. Hang me in a gallery by my throat. Let people come and say, she has been carrying the whole world and keeping other people's pain in her pockets, other people's prayers stuffed up her sleeves. See how she bends back, see how strong her shoulders. An angel came to me last night. She said, listening can be a river, and that river can have too much water, and the night can be an answer, and that night can have too much moon. So do I try, loosen my grip on goodness. I could fold my arms across my chest. I could swallow salts and think about bad words. I am too full of blood and milk and sap. And by that I mean selfishness does not know where to find me. Sometimes I sigh and it comes out. I'm sorry. I open. I don't know how to close. I did a spell for my body. Collected dead things, nettles, that thick layer around the plug hole, the wet patch on the beach that used to be a wave. I looked in the mirror and I started to eat. I will kill the angel in my house. And by that I mean selfishness will know where to find me. I bled onto your white sheets once. I can do it again. Oh, give me a prayer for my sacred flesh, for my sacral chakra, for my corporeal self. Dissolve me. Wetness without name, a body observed and unanswered, spit or star. I don't know science because science doesn't know me. I will not want what doesn't want me. I will not be an altar for lonely men. What if I say, but I mean love? What if the sun never sets? What if I say, but I mean no? What if I could find a different voice? See how I bend back, see how strong my shoulders. Where can tenderness find me? I am the planet of love. Tell me when to stop. There are not enough words for my organs. I open. I don't know how to close. I am all mouth.
Life is a test, which is why we weren't born with all the answers. It is known that practice makes perfect, but don't just practice. Learn to let go, to let life happen. It's fine to plan, sensible to think about the road ahead, the approach to take. But what if the plan sucks? What if there is more to success than luck? Because everything happens for a reason. Learn to embrace the seasons, learn to obey life's teacher. There is a lesson to learn before reaching the end destination. Practice patience. Don't practice perfection. Practice reaching into self-introspection is a gift that favors blessings. Self-awareness enables ascension. You must be conscious of what will cause your downfalls. This will enable you to get back up when you do fall. Don't be careless. The more you get more out of life, the more you put in. The more you give, the higher the return on investment. Exponential interest when internal growth is limitless. Always be open to receiving. Never close yourself off to higher things. You are a celestial being. Enjoy the fine-tuning. It's the place in between intention and fruition that we often forget. A time where we often neglect ourselves of the joy that can be found in becoming. Not everything need be rushed. Time is on your side. Be grateful for the grace you've been gifted. Take pride in the process. The next door has already been opened. No need to worry of hurdles. Trust that you can get this part right. Trust beyond the point of eyesight. Keep believing and being teachable. Your dreams are practical. Tune in to what is required of you. Your abilities will only become better. Everything is one. Your mind is connected to the minds of everyone. Languages of love will carry you further than any currency. Mold into your being.
You don't talk about the brick makers, posted on corners of roads. Baker hands coated by the coal fires make mud, their horizons made solid. Side street walls to demand them are murals. Their concrete mix of imagination swirls, teaches their hands to craft from scraps. You've stopped turning these walls into every scuffed goalpost, every patable playing field. Stopped climbing these as young kings atop castles whilst a single brother watches, waits for this to be him one day. You don't talk about the brick makers that twist over their Pebble Beach palms, skin patched together by brick lines of names that plaster themselves like bloodstream spills from open wounds, like bloodstream spills into horizons made solid. Ask themselves when bricks began to mold their makers. The mandem sift through names on their skin. No more scrap piled and cemetery. Start to craft a god from the centers. Perch him atop a stairwell where somebody's son recedes into its ridges. From your corner of roads. You don't talk about. You don't talk about.
Once the bear has finished fishing from the lake, she moves to the forest, eats her fill and leaves the rest to the soil. The bear is a quiet place with a loud voice. The lake lets it echo and looks at her like she is the most delicious party ring at the picnic. They've been dating for nearly 2 years. The underground fungus of fingers collects the leftover carbon from her meal and circulates it to organisms in need. Experts don't know yet how she recognizes need, but I know when questions come from my canopy, steady fingers brush back blonde forest. I empty her dishwasher before she wakes. She isn't always good at the saying, so I light her from the west like it's sunset and let the silhouettes fill themselves in. Experts have found plants filled with fish carbon further back in the forest than bears dare to feast. That was her. Like a DPD for ecosystems in need, like a seedling pushing through topsoil, like the telling of the joke that made you throw your head back and laugh to the skies. She helps the forest photosynthesize. Her fingers sustain life. Fingers' blood supply cut off by tote bags filled with tins for the local food bank. The fish, well, we're all vegetarians, so in this, the fish are the stories. The ones we needed when we were 14 and didn't have each other. When there was no nutritional value to be found in the TV or the tears. The ones that drip from tongues to ears like rain to soil. I haven't spoken to soil in a while. She is clever and loyal. You can find her wherever there is need of self-sufficiency, and I know. You grow out of the need for recognition from experts when the work is good, but I would never have flourished if the lake and the bear weren't filled with fish. For every step you take in a forest, there is 10 kilometers of fungus underneath. I had to learn the hard way that you will never be nourished if you have no friends for rest. My lover shares her carbon with me by way of kiss. Once waking milk of soil make cappuccino when need is passed like fish by lips and picked at by young fingers eager to see themselves. Their hopes fill notebooks like reforesting. Their fingers twitch with anxiety when making new friends, but later, new friends sit together on warm soil. The sun filters my canopy just enough to shelter any bear that is looking for a spot for feasting. All this to say, I love where my carbon comes from.
I could pull the root of my synapses from the ground. make a bouquet of dead flowers, stanzas that took too long to arrange themselves to their listeners' liking. But my impulses wouldn't sit right in ear like vase, whose cracking I am culprit to, whose porcelain is moulded too delicate for me. The myselves, and they will stem as quickly and as complex as they like. By the time they've hypothesized my abnormal, it'll be fossil to their microscope. I could untwist my tongue of its ratio, explaining not 2 but 1.618/infinity ways why my stammer is divine, why syllables swallow themselves like worlds extinct to make room for better ones, why intentions escape their words like mollusks out of shells to search for bigger ones, why no matter how well I stitch sentences together, their seeming always comes loose. To be hung onto by a thread is to be unravelled into nakedness and seen. I could find perfection in that chaos. The my neurons, and I'll dot to dot them how I like in whatever shape I like. I might connect them into a 13th zodiac if I get bored, but I think its shine would be lost on this galaxy, whose sun is too lazy to make the rounds, whose skull I've never felt native to. I've never fit into stellar either. So I'm fusing a forever fontanel to make home of. One that's deformity will be only the result of a perfectly deformed poem. A free verse universe, as diverse as the stars that inhabit it.
Wow, I am immensely impressed. Each poet was fabulous and the judges have a really difficult decision to make. This year's BBC Words First semi-final showcase has blown me away, and I look forward to seeing the poets that are selected for the final showcase. Thanks for watching, and tweet us at YoungIDMCR to tell us who your favourite poet was. This has been the BBC Words First 2022 semi-final showcase. If you would like writing development opportunities, email inquiries@youngidentity.org. Thanks for staying tuned, and this is PA Bites, signing out.